Hi, this is Bye Bye Money. Today is December 11th, 2020, and welcome to my live trading journal, making $500 a day solely scalping one setup, the two-legged pullback. I only trade on the ES futures here, and I trade 5 contracts each, so with 2 scalps, um, you can make $500 a day. Already done for the day, and yep, so up 1,000 here. Honestly, I've been kind of busy, so I haven't posted in a while. Um, you know, this is not my full-time job, um, nor do I think it'll be my full-time job in a long time. I think that's one of the questions I get often. Do you trade, full-time, blah, 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 and I don't. And I don't think I will for a long time because honestly, first off, there's a couple things if you want to trade full-time. You need to be able to make more money you know doing this side hustle part-time than your full-time job. And I think that's step one. Like if you can't even do that, then there's no reason to quit your full-time job. um, Secondly, not only that, you have to be profitable for I think many years to be able to prove that this could be a source of income for you. $500 a day, I know that that's what we're trying to do here on the live trading journal. But I'm here with you guys. I'm still learning this, and I'm not a master of anything, and so I am still you know honestly trying to figure out how to read price action, and there's always more to learn. And so these live trading journals mostly are for me before anyone else, to help my trading. And so yeah, and I would think I would have to be profitable, making you know $500 a day for many years before even considering to quit a full-time job with a stable income. And so, yeah, and until that day comes, I'm going to just be doing these things on the side, these videos on the side and little things here and there. Um, and yeah, so that's basically, at least how I perceive to, taking to the next step of going full-time trading. But yeah, just a quick update on the indicator. I am uh, tirelessly working on it, working with NinjaTrader, and as soon as NinjaTrader finishes their processes to approve the indicator, they have their own processes. Then I will have it released to you guys, and I'll post it on my channel. When it'll be released, where it'll be released, how to get it, and on the website I'll have steps on how to use the indicator, and how to install, and just hopefully everything that you need in order to get the indicator up and running on your side, and for you to be able to use it proficiently. And so yeah, that's it for the introduction. I I decided to do a raw trading session again for the last hour of trading. um, and I just hope that's helpful. I mean, it seems like from the comments from the last video, even though I didn't make much last video, it seems like the comments were just very helpful for you guys. And so I'm gonna just post the raw footage so you can hear my thoughts throughout the entire session, and some things I anticipate, some things I look for, and yeah, so hopefully that's helpful, and enjoy. Hey guys, so I'm going to try to put the raw footage again today since it seems like this was very helpful for a lot of you. I'm currently looking at the 2K chart, straight up the 2000 tick, and I'll be trading solely off the 2000 tick chart. I might be looking at the other charts, but I'm going to try to trade off the 2000 tick chart. Since this is going to be the raw footage, I'm going to try to record about 30 minutes. It's the last hour trading on Friday, and since it's the raw footage, I'm going to go ahead and just start from scratch, got rid of all my lines, and just show you here how to make a channel. The way I make channels is I connect 2 pivot highs that do not intersect any other pivot highs, for any other points. So here's a good spot. And between these two spots, I have to find a pivot low. It's between these two that when connected doesn't intersect any other points. So I can't use this one because it intersects all the points ahead of it, to the right of it. Can't use this one, can't use this one, the right of it. Can't use this one because all the points are intersecting. Can't use this one. I can finally use this one here. And when you look at this, you say, well, didn't it intersect over here? Don't you want to use it down here? No, because that is after this pivot high. And so instead, rather, we can use this as information. You can see that the chart is respecting this pivot low, or this descending channel, the bottom trend line of the descending channel. Now we are hitting our heads against the top of the descending channel, and as you can see, we poked above it and now we're going underneath it again. So this needs to be updated to right here. I update it instead of getting rid of it because it goes above it and comes back in, so it's still valid. And need to update this now because now all these points on the right of it are intersecting. And so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the right place. And as you can see here, there's also another channel going up like this. So I'm just connected this same rules. So for uptrends, you connect the bottom pivots. For downtrends, you connect the top pivots. And so I connect these two bottom pivots. And I connect this top pivot, right? These two bottom, there's no other intersecting points. And I connect this pivot. And you can see right here why the market bounced right off that. Before the top channel kind of looked like this. How it poked above it. But now it looks like this because we updated, but we can see that it hit its head on top of this channel here. So within this channel, we also have this intermediate channel. I just draw the trend line, so draw the entire channel because my channels, are extended, so it gets a little messy. And so since this trend is already broken, so we go here and we see that it breaks below it but comes back into it, so we'll update it. So it looks something like this. And finally, we have broken down and we have the 20 EMA now here. And you can see that those who went long here was a little bit silly because they tried to go long after a breakdown of this trend line and also the 20 EMA. And so I'm going to post this raw footage because, one thing you can see how I make the charts. Another thing is you can see whatever trades I don't take as well. I'm going to try to talk through as much of it as possible. And so here we're at the top of the trend, and so you expect us to kind of go back at least to the midpoint of this channel, midpoint of this channel, or the 240 SMA. These are all good points for support. And we can see here those who went long here on the 2K chart was a bit silly. First off, terrible signal bar. Second, long wicks closing under the 20 EMA, breaking beneath this trend line. And so what you expect here is not necessarily a downtrend. What you expect here is a trading range. And so after a kind of strong push like this, you expect a trading range, and that's kind of what we have here developing right now. So I'll make my trading range. So originally it would look something like this. But now since it's updated, broke down, came back in, our trading range is something like this up here. I'll go ahead and actually make this not a extended channel, but I'll just do something like this, copy and paste that. So now we have a sort of slanted trading range here. And so we're expecting this to oscillate, and finally when it breaks this trading range above or below, I think we'll kind of get our new trend here. And we don't really, we can make a two-legged pullback within here. It's a little bit tight, but I think we can make it if it actually makes one. So we have a trading range at the moment right now. We're expecting a trading range as well. And there's a couple hints about that. Typically after a trend breaks, you go into a trading range. It's atypical to just go straight back down, have A tops or B bottoms. They do happen, but it's more typical that it goes into a trading range, especially at the top of resistance here. And so you can also see that breaking under the 20 EMA and going above it, we're what we call whipsawing above and below the 20 EMA. The 20 EMAs basically doesn't have much respect right now. It's because bulls and bears are confused. To be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna even make a trade from this, but I'll go ahead and um, you know, post this entire raw footage anyways. So, we have a certain setup that we could be looking for here, something like this. A, B, C to the top of this trading range, and we'll see if we get a good signal bar around here, and we can try to go short. But we are just on our first leg up here. Got a lot more to develop. But the fact that we're going in and out of this 20 EMA now makes me feel like we're going to be in trading range. This looks like a strong bull push, but I just would remember that we're in a trading range, so you'll get kind of these strong bull pushes into the trading ranges, the highs and lows. So it's looking extremely bullish, but still, let's let it develop. Still waiting for some sort of pattern, an ABC pattern. We have the simple two-legged pullback here. The hard part is, at this point in time, maybe a little difficult to have known that this would be in trading range. So you see it break down, you might not want to go long here because who knows, it could be a trap and you can just tumble down, especially after a strong bounce off the resistance. So now we're at a place where the market will kind of show us its intentions. Is it going to break through this trading range, or is it going to bounce back down? Will it respect the top of this channel again, or will it, simply disregard it and just go right through it? You could, I guess, had made a double bottom, or I guess at this point triple bottom premise here, but okay, so we're just waiting for this to develop more. We're seeing it that it's poking through the channel now, simply on one bull leg. This could show a breakout, potential breakout. Making new highs, higher lows, higher highs. Strong bull bar here. If this comes back into, if it doesn't bounce off this retest and just goes right through it, I'm going to make a channel with this uptrend here. Yeah, so let's continue to watch this develop. I personally do not want to go short anytime soon. I think the market has showed us its intentions here. Strong bull bars. It might do a two-legged pullback down. A small little two-legged pullback, something like this. And in that case, I will most likely try to go long here. But let's see if it'll even do that. This bull trend looks pretty strong. This bull leg looks pretty strong. Bigger picture again, we're near the top of this range. And we had this trading range here, and it simply broke through it. So now we're waiting for a two-legged pullback. Currently, there's a gray one here. That typically means it's the first pullback, first entry. And so we're going to have to wait for a couple more moves until we see a clear two-legged pullback. Tensions of the market are being shown more and more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bull bars at a breakout point. Pretty strong move, I would say. If you were to look at this at a higher time frame, that's how it looks like. This is the 10K tick chart, straight up the 10K, not the Fibonacci number. Okay, we see also we have a very clear target. This red line is yesterday's close, yesterday's close. Let me mark out. It's not marked in my 2K chart. I don't know why. It's 36. 58.5. Is that right? Yep. 36.58.5. So I'm going to mark this with a red line here. I should have had this before. Oh, you know what? It's because I cleared all my lines. That's why it disappeared. I did have it before. Cleared all my lines so I can start fresh, draw all my trend lines with you guys. The reason why I draw my trend lines like the way I do is because it's, first off, a very technical way to draw them, and second, it only uses previous information to tell you forward looking information. Like trend lines that are impossible to make, in the past, are like while the chart develops. Like I could have made all these trend lines while the chart is developing. Trend lines that are made, after the chart is finished, the day is finished, and you start to see trend lines like, okay, that trend line looks impossible to make because there's no way they could have known that trend line exists. Those trend lines are absolutely worthless when it comes to real life trading. And so I like to find trend lines. I like to make trend lines purely based on previous action, price action. There's basically that's the only way where it can actually be useful. So I'm going to redraw this channel here and see if it comes down to retest. We actually have the top of this channel still, but we have 2 more legs until we get a nice 2-legged pullback to the upside. We have a clear target, this red line here, which is the previous close. Very clear target. If it hasn't touched it yet, I would not go short until it touches it, because this will act as a magnet. So if you go short, oftentimes the magnet will try to pull it up and it might create a trap. So there's a certain situation right now that looks like this. This A, B, C pattern, and it could be tempting to go short here, but if it doesn't touch the key area, which is the previous close, this short could be a trap, and it might just reverse because the price wants to touch the magnet. And that's where you kind of want to go in. You kind of want to go in this reversal to touch this key area, if that's the situation. So that situation could possibly happen. And so I'm just gonna, be aware of that. So when it comes to trading around the area, I'll be ready. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna get rid of this because it looks like this top of this line is pretty much identical to it. So we have a potential 2-legged pullback, which I'll be interested in. This is the 2-legged pullback I'll be interested in now. It'd be an A, B, C pattern, and I would want to go in a second entry around this area here, around the 20 EMA. At this point, the 20 EMA would have caught up to this retesting of this major trend line. Remember, this trend line was created from pivots, this pivot, and now this pivot had to get updated. So is the most up-to-date trend line, major trend line. And this is the current scenario I'm looking at right now. I'm anticipating this trade. Also, strong, bold trend here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars, and it got so close to the key area. You're expecting to hit the key area sooner or later. Possible measured move as well. So you have this 2-legged pullback that I'm waiting for. It hasn't even made the second leg yet, or the first entry. But I'm anticipating this trade, something like this. But look at this move here. It could be a measured move as well. So this kind of adds to our bull case here. I'm looking for some sort of setup like this. I'm anticipating this trade. And we're just watching it develop. We have bars ending under low. We have swings that are making more than 1 point at this moment, which is a good sign. When the swings are making like less than 1 point, it's kind of scary to go in, because you just have to assume the next swing is going to make less than 1 point. So like um, just these small swing here, small swing here does end up small swing here. So you have like a couple small swings over here, showing choppiness, and then finally you know breaking upwards. All right, so we're getting good signs for us if we're to go long here, but we still cannot go long. The reason I said good signs because tails were developing, but the tail just disappeared at the very end. Current pivot low is the bottom of this candle, and so we're going to just watch this develop until it gets to our key area here. I'm still at this point you're just waiting. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting until the trade comes to you. I'm waiting for the first entry to trigger. I'm not sure if it'll trigger, but I'm waiting for it to trigger here. It's just still waiting, still waiting. Again, strong bear bar kind of ending on its low, but being neutralized by this bull bar currently. Hasn't reached up here yet. I really wanted to break above here. So you have this strong bull bar, but neutralized by this strong bear bar. Equally same distance, equal size. So that shows sort of weakness on this downtrend here. It didn't break the previous candle's high, which is annoying because you would want it to break so you can wait for the second pullback. But currently there's no second pullback because there's no first entry yet. Still waiting for the first entry. You see where this diamond is. It has to touch this diamond, get up to this diamond. It's placed one tick above the previous candle's high. And very annoyingly, coming back down, not triggering our first entry. Still waiting for our two-legged pullback to develop here. Similar situation on the 10K chart. The 10K chart actually looks a little more bearish because we are making wicks above this channel now. The fact that it's so close to the previous close makes me feel like it still wants to touch it, and it just doesn't even touch the 20 EMA while it's going up here, showing some bullishness here. Unfortunately, still no two-legged pullback. I mean, it could be fortunate because it might just bust down. It could have been a potential trap, whatever, but right now there's no setup here for us. No two-legged pullback yet. I guess while this develops ever so slowly, I can give an update on the indicator. I have been working with NinjaTrader, and we ran into some hiccups on the licensing, and so hopefully that'll get resolved soon. I am really hoping this indicator is released next week, early next week, late next week, sometime next week. I'm eager to get it out to you guys. I really hope it's a tool that is helpful, and I've been also working on a website to get all the information out there for the indicator, like how to use it, how to read it, how to read all these numbers, and how to use it for a tool for price action. And so I've been working with NinjaTrader to do that, and hopefully we can get this indicator out to you guys as soon as possible. This bounce off the 20 EMA, bounce off the 240 SMA, big bull bars on the 5-minute chart make me feel like this is going to, for sure, try to touch the previous close. Let me just double check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the previous close right there. Just going to confirm it by zooming in time. Yep, we're at 17. So that is a previous close. We started the bear leg of a two-legged move here, and yeah, so it's A, 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 B, C, A, and actually the position is not too bad for the 10K chart two-legged move, but we're just so close to the previous close. I'm not looking to short anything until we touch this. Here we're developing long tails on the 2K chart, and it's almost right on cue with how I drew this anticipation. Unfortunately, there's no two-legged pullback yet. Optically, there's a two-legged pullback, right? You can have A, B, C pattern, but this technically you don't, because this candle did not break the previous candle's high, and so we never had a first entry, so you can't have a second entry unless you have a first entry first. So I mean, something could happen like this at this point, like this can break the previous candle's high. We can do like a little bounce back here and then try to enter in like this, or this could be something like this, gives a pivot like this, and we enter here, something like that. But I'm fully expecting us to hit the previous high or the previous close. 10K chart still has not made a point. There's a trap waiting on the other side on the 10K chart. So look how bullish this looks on the 5-minute. The 10K is not as bullish looking because you have this kind of long wick right at resistance. So there could be a battle here, but I'm focused right now on the 2K chart. I like to look at the higher time frame to see how strong the bull move is. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's obvious, right, that this is a strong bull move just by looking at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strong bull bars ending near their high. All right, we got the first entry finally here. And you know, we might not even get our second entry, who knows. But I'm waiting. So we have an A, B. Hopefully we get a C pattern soon. And notice how this bull leg already made a point, right? Made a scalper's profit, which is 5 ticks. Made more than a scalper's profit, 6 ticks so far. Scalper's profit is 5 ticks because 1 tick for the stop entry and 4 ticks for the point. So at this point, I don't want this to go too high. I actually want to come back down one more time for me. And that's like all the bulls are waiting for this to happen, right? They want it to come down one more time so they get a good entry on the second entry, and at least to hit the previous close. Ooh, okay. This is almost primed. This is almost perfect. It's almost exactly how I want it to look. We have the measured move up here. It's going to mark it with a horizontal line so it's not in the way, too much noise on the chart. Alright, this is almost looking perfect here. We have the strong trend up, A, B, almost a C pattern, almost a C leg has commenced. Just waiting. We're above the 20 EMA. We are above this major trend line. We have strong bull bars on the 5-minute. $300 more ticks for this candle to finish. Still waiting here. Notice that if this makes less than a scalper's profit on the bear leg, it will also be a trap. So you'll have a trap and also a two-legged pullback waiting all in one spot. Has not triggered the second pullback yet. I'll get rid of this guy. We need this to break the prior candle's low to trigger the second pullback. You can tell a trap will be waiting on the other side because this is a dark red diamond. And so once this triggers down, as long as it doesn't make a scalper's profit, it will be a trap. It will be in trap city is what I like to call it. Has not triggered the second pullback yet. It got close, but still has not triggered it. Still waiting here. This is a beautiful place to get it. Fortunately, it's kind of reversing already. Has not triggered that pullback yet. Still waiting for the second pullback. Looks like it's reversing. Some people might think the double bottom is good enough for them. And I would, say that this might be one of the times you can just say the double bottom was the kind of the pullback down. It could be here where it just touches the previous close. It's just unfortunate that we did not get our pullback. We can still get a pullback over here, small pullback, and I'd still be interested. Something like this now. But, traders are waiting, bulls are waiting for that second push down so they can reverse this. I think the bulls are waiting. It's currently 3:36, about 30 minutes has passed. We just need this final pullback to commence. Most of trading, this is what it is. You're just watching things slowly develop. Now, how long have I been looking? I've been looking at this setup for 30 minutes, anticipating it. And who knows? Who knows if I'll even get it? This might just blow up right here, and I might not even get my setup. And that's the thing about trading, right? You have certain plans, but nothing's set in stone. You gotta adapt to whatever the environment is. So about 500 more ticks. You can see right here, tick count of the indicator. It's better than down here. The native indicator is down here, a tick counter indicator. So you don't have to keep your eyes too far away from the charts here. Okay, we actually have a decent setup here. I think this is gonna create a second pullback here. $20 more ticks. We just need this to break a prior candle's low. And then we'll be waiting on the other side with a potential trap and also two-legged pullback. The bulls are not even letting this go. One tick below the previous candle's low. They're saying if you want to get in, you got to get in. We're not giving you any discounts here. That's what the bulls are saying. No discounts here. But I'm cheap. I want that discount. I need that pullback. I need that setup. I don't trade anything other than second entries. And so the whole point of this, journey is to trade the second entries. So does it make sense to go into this if it's not a second entry? Even though I'm very eager to go in right now, but let the setup come to you, which it might happen now. Trigger my bare leg, my second pullback. Almost triggered the two-legged pullback here. I'm just waiting. Come on. Come on. Don't tease me. Give me that pullback. I will trade it. I will trade an outside bar here if this triggers. $174 more ticks, 167 more ticks. Will I get that two-legged pullback is the question. It looks like it wants to give it to me. Come to Papa. One tick down. That's all I need. Come on. One tick down. Oh. Just one tick down is all I need. That's all I'm asking for. Come on. Oh, it's already reversing. Dang it. Dang it. I might have missed the boat here. Just need that one tick down, but bulls are too eager here. Bulls are not laying this tick down. And it's gonna most likely touch this now. Unfortunately, couldn't get in. I really needed that tick down to make this a two-legged pullback. But market's saying no discounts today. No discounts. No second entries. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Really wanted that setup, but I mean, if you were more aggressive, you could have just optically looked at this, you know, and said this is like a two-legged pullback. You know, just optics wise. But technically it's not, because this never broke the prior candle's high. So we don't continue that count. You know, we never got it. We never got our second pullback, so we couldn't get in a second entry. Now it's starting to look like a double top here. It didn't quite touch our target yet. Yeah, I can't tell you how eager those bulls were. They were so eager. They didn't even let it tick down. One tick. That's all I needed. It's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But yeah, we're patient here. Allow the setup to come to us. Actually trapped on the 10K chart. That might have been worth the trap. The trap makes a little more of a point. That might be what caused this pop-up, that trap on the 10K chart. So this 10K was very tempting for a lot of bears, but I think they forgot that we broke out, and also very close to a magnet. And so, I mean, technically you're not stopped out yet, because you would have your stop above this pivot high, but it's pretty darn close, and most likely will get stopped out. Yeah, strong bull bars on the 5-minute, I think, gave away everything about this next move up, and also telling us not to go into here short. You know, strong move up here. Since we still didn't touch our key area, maybe I can still interested in this two-legged pullback if it happens. You can see that this pivot high did not break this pivot high yet, and so we're still in our we're still continuing our count for the bear legs. Okay, we actually have a two-legged pullback waiting right here. Barely enough room to our key area. If I were to go in, I have to go into the retracement if I were to enter this. But our two-legged pullback finally has started. But notice at this point now it's also a double top. It's a double top here, and so that lessens the probability this bear leg scalp the point. and it looks like it wants to scalp more than a point here. The bear leg scalping more than a point, showing us there's strong bears here. Not just scalping bears, not weak bears, which are bears who just scalp, but we have swing bears here, showing us maybe this is the double top and that we won't get to touch our key area here. That's just maybe what's happening here. So you gotta keep that in mind. That we have strong bears here with a double top near the key area but not touching it yet. Guess we can know it's a double top if it breaks the midpoint and shows an impulsive move. Then we will look for a two-legged pullback upwards to go short. That will be our trade, next trade setup. It'll have to break down here strong. Then we wait for this two-legged pullback, something like this, and we like to enter short here. If this is a true double top, that's what would happen. We need an impulsive move down. It's so far going underneath the midpoint. It's a potential breakdown here. That's funny because a 10K is resistance right here, and you wouldn't have been stopped out. You're still in this trade, and you have potential to make a point still on the 10K chart. That's crazy. Another attempt down. And I think I mean, maybe if you're here, you might just come out break even at that point because you're like, wow, that was very scary. That was very scary. And then you might come out break even, or, you know, if you're a strong bear, then you'll just stay in and maybe even double your position here. So we have a lot more for this to develop if we're going to a trade. Currently breaking underneath the midpoint and maybe confirming this double top here. Strong move down. So our only trade now is a two-legged move that looks something like this, maybe back to the midpoint area, and this is our two-legged move that we're looking for now. But we'll see if we even get that. The 10K makes the point. I could have possibly gone in there. That would have been a reasonable short. 5 minute hitting the 20 EMA now. Yeah, currently no setup really at the moment. Strong bear bar breaking beneath the midpoint here. Typically how you figure this out if this move is completed is you make the targets here because you measure from the top to the midpoint and typically tries to make this kind of move here. The measured move down here. So now it's getting near the end of the day, but my only other setup will be something like this, and I'll look to go short somewhere around here near the midpoint again, and hopefully down to the measured move. And again, no promises. I don't know if there's going to be any trades here. That trade was just so close. I wish it just ticked down one and gave me that second entry on the other side. I would have gone on that outside bar for sure. So if this breaks the previous candle's high, we have a potential for a two-legged move, but we'll see if we even get there. Looking for a move like this now. That hurts, that hurts when you're like so close and you just know the intention of the market. You just know they're bulls here, just buying everything up, and you have a key area here, and your setup just didn't come that one tick. And I know it's silly, you know, oh, you could have gone in, you know, just you're being too technical here. But no, I mean, that's exactly what the two-legged pullback is. And so the idea is to be technical. The idea is to make it so the setup is universal. That happens everywhere in the same way, and that's what makes it trainable. That makes it, you know, a setup that's, um, you know, why it makes the setup so attractive, because um, it is a setup that is clearly defined. So if I, you know, fudge with the rules, I could have done an optical two-legged pullback, which is, you know, easy to see with your eyes. You know, kind of just looks like a two-legged pullback, like one push down, another push down, right? Two pushes down, two-legged pullback. All right, sorry. Okay, so we're seeing a strong push up instead of a nice two-legged pullback. Impulsive move that always happens at the 50 mark, 10 minutes before regular trading hours. People are trying to get out of positions. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get in a trade here. Maybe I'll get in the last like 5 minutes. I typically don't like to trade in the last 5 minutes, but um, let's see. Let's see if we get it. See if we get anything. At this point, I don't know. Bouncing off this, finding some support. Still have a lot more to develop. We need to make 2 more legs in order for this to be viable to the pullback. We do see some bearishness with this pop up and then comes back down. There was a two-legged move here, but A, B, C, and you could have gone here, the second entry. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Under the 20 MA, strong bear bars. Not something I necessarily would want to go into. So at the end, this might just purely be educational, or you know, actually, everything here is for entertainment purposes only. So just purely for your entertainment, and maybe somewhat informational. Um, but who knows? I mean, it's hard to force a trade at this point. Unfortunately, cannot get into a trade here. Actually, we have a two-legged pullback right here. A, B, C, and off the 20 MA. Potential two-legged pullback. Very interesting. Let's see how this happens. Let's see what happens here. A lot has to develop. This has to like break down. Okay. Needs to make one more leg up in order for the two-legged pullback to happen. Also remember you have the 5-minute 20 EMA acting as support at the moment. Measure move right here. This still has to do this. This is an A, B. It has to break a prior candle's high, and that means most likely this candle has to develop, and then another candle has to develop. It's a lot more that needs to happen here. Or we can just go straight down. That's ugly. Now it's causing some confusion for me. I typically don't like to trade against wicks. Wicks are like a clear sign that there are bulls and bears there. So this is confusing now to me. And actually it's not a two-legged pullback anymore because this pivot low broke this pivot low. But yeah, it ends up making a point the other way. A, B, C, A. Didn't even hit the measured move. We do have a two-legged pullback on the 5-minute that I might just be interested in because we still haven't hit this. Signal bar is not the best. A, B, C, A. Does it want to get to the previous close? Very hard to trade here in my opinion. Very hard to trade. Look at this bar. The double top may prove to be too strong here. I have no setup on the 2K chart. You know, when the market looks like this, expands down, expands up, expands down, expands up, breaking the previous pivot highs, breaking the previous pivot lows. That's it's pretty annoying. That makes it very hard for two-legged pullbacks to develop here. My 30 minutes, I thought it was going to be 30 minutes, ended up being an hour. Hour of just talking. Talking. Yeah, that could have been a potential good trade to go short here with a good signal bar, but just so close to the key area, I don't typically trade against that. I like it to touch it because it typically acts as a magnet, and it worked this time. But it could have easily acted as a magnet and just, you know, pulled it back up here. We have a potential trap trade here. A, B, C. Really wanted to trade a 2K chart. I guess some people who are more aggressive would have taken this long, but to me this is floating in the middle of nowhere, this long. I don't know, hard to trade, especially close to a measured move down here. Alright, we have a two-legged pullback finally here. A, B, C. Two-legged pullback. Measure move down here. At the same time, most likely a trap on the 5-minute. Some confluence there. I have my order primed up. Okay, it's breaking up now. Terrible signal bar. Can I take that trade? Okay, the 5-minute actually bursted upwards, and the two-legged pullback is successful on the 5-minute. Two-legged pullback successful on the 10-minute as well, or 10K. Do not want to go short here. You want to go on a trap trade here. If we're to break this this low, we're looking for a trap. Looking for a trap. A, B, C, second entry, and we want to go into trap trade here. But it needs to trigger first a trap. Trap triggered. Second entry triggered. Trap waiting on the other side. No more trap, but still treating it as a trap because it made exactly a scalper's profit. Alright, let's go along here. Alright, so that was a really quick trade. It's because basically it's 4 o'clock, and I pretty much treated that like a trap because it basically just didn't do, it basically only went like 4 or 5 ticks, and yeah, so I treated it like a trap because it barely made a profit there. But it wasn't technically a trap, but it's still treating like a trap. Looks like it's gonna try to hit the measure move now, down here. That's a nice two-legged pullback. A, B, C, take a pullback, spike back down. Does it still want this measured move is a question. So close, but no cigar. Alright, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Hope that's been helpful. And as always, happy trading. God bless.